Good afternoon ho sa lahat. This is our first online kapihan ng Samahang Plaridel. Ito po yung anak ng kapihan sa Manila Hotel, which has been going on for a decade in Manila Hotel. But because of the pandemic, we had to stop the face-to-face interviews. And now we are returning through the technologically advanced cyber meeting, and everybody can be in their offices or cars as the chairman is, but he will be joining, as he said, in a stable space mamaya-maya. But the topic is good for at least for 10% po ba? 8.5% of the population who are 60 and above. And that includes this host. I am the newly separated Commission on Appointment Secretary of the Congress. And because of the change of leadership, I am now a private citizen. So for 6 years, we have been in public service. I have been in public service myself. So this is a good chance for me to do something as a private citizen. So today we are discussing the Senior Citizens Act as implemented by the National Commission of Senior Citizens. And we are so happy participating. Of course, led by the chairman, Attorney Franklin Quijano, and the commissioners, Raymar Mansilungan and Rainier Cruz. Welcome and good afternoon to you, sirs. And I think we are also joined by somebody else from the commission. Is there anybody else joining us from the commission?
Yeah, we have Cesar Yamuta, who will be sharing to us the PowerPoint presentation, which I will be presenting. Cesar is an executive assistant of the Office of the Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Chairman Quijano, and welcome, Special Assistant Cesar Yamuta. So for starters, will the good chairman give us an overview of the scope of the responsibility of the National Commission of Senior Citizens, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, thank you very much, Attorney Hector. Although I am worried about my signal, and let me start saying that it was during the Congress of Attorney Villacorta that a significant milestone was established, and that is Republic Act 11350. So during the previous Congress, Republic Act 11350 created the National Commission of Senior Citizens, which for the first time, there is a sectoral body under the Office of the President giving focus on all the citizens 60 years old and above. But it seems that it's not just the 60 years old and above, because it can cover the others, including the aspiring seniors like Mike Hamisola. The afternoon we'll be giving focus on the National Commission of Senior Citizens task, which is actually the total of what all else is doing, except that ours would be integrative in the sense that the welfare works will be transferred to us from DSWD. The health works, which is with DOH, we will also be able to participate in very actively. The enterprise work, which is with DA, DTI, and all, we will also have some roles to play, knowing that the senior citizens in the country, which numbers about 12.3 million, would be a significant reservoir of skill sets, skills, knowledge, and wisdom. And so even as we are saying that Attorney Hector has retired from government service, we are happier because we hope we will be able to tap his expertise over how to use the vast resources, which is the senior citizens. And so maybe as an introduction, I will pick up from there. Maybe I will ask Commissioner Rainier Cruz and Commissioner Raymer Mansilungan to also introduce themselves, their area of responsibility, and perhaps the essential features of the commission as far as the geographic areas, the administrative areas, and all.
Thank you, Chairman. Can the mentioned commissioners give their areas of responsibility? Can we start with Commissioner Mansilungan?
Yeah. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon. I was on a health call when my name was called.
So
can you give us
yes.
Go ahead, po,
Commissioner, you can just say your area of responsibility so we can have a bird's eye view of your work.
Yeah, well, the law stated that there shall be commissioners shall hold office in the area where they belong. When we were appointed, wala naman pong nakalagay na area specific except that the law says there shall be 2 commissioners each from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So now, since my residence then was in Luzon, so it was assumed that I am representing Luzon. When the second commissioner for Luzon was appointed in the person of Lieutenant General Rainier Cruz, we agreed on an interoperability, which means, first off, the Philippines is divided into 8 clustered regions, 3 in Luzon, 2 in Visayas, and 3 in Mindanao. During the NBank, in considering how we divide Luzon, it was decided that there shall be 1 sector or 1 clustered region in the north, composed of regions 1, 2, 3, and the Cordillera Administrative Region, or CAR. Then NCR, being a primary area, is considered another clustered region, though it's small. The third cluster region for Luzon will be regions 4A, 4B, and Region 5, or Bicol. General Cruz and I decided, we agreed that as far as management administration is concerned, we will interoperate in the whole of Luzon, which means if there are concerns in the south and I am available, then I will be available to consider what those issues are. But for purposes of planning, we agreed that I will be in charge of the clustered northern clustered regions of regions 1, 2, 3, and CAR. General Rainier Cruz will be in charge of regions 4A, 4B, and Region 5. And NCR, being the location of the central office, will actually be an open area. Technically, it should be under the chairman. But since the chairman is from Mindanao himself, so we are interoperating, including in the NCR. So yun po yung yung division. Pero there is no limitation as to attending into concerns, because we cannot avoid that we have friends in Visayas and Mindanao who would be conveniently approaching us instead of the other commissioners that they don't know or they're not acquainted with. So pagdating sa ganon, if it's a regular issue, I mean issue of national in scope, like if it's an issue on social pension or anything that is nationally considered, then any commissioner can attend to it. Except in particular when it comes to perhaps yung regional offices, if a province, for example, is going to host a satellite office of the NCSC, then only the commissioner in charge of the area can settle it or can handle it. But on national issues, any commissioner for that matter, I think, is allowed to consider those issues.
Thank you very
Yes,
much,
sir.
Commissioner. And before I proceed, let me welcome our media participants who will later be given the time to ask questions. Is Commissioner Rainier Cruz already on board? Commissioner Rainier Cruz already on board? Chairman, would you like to continue what you were saying, or would there be already or is this already the time for Special Assistant Cesar Yamuta to discuss the
yeah. Maybe I could already be presenting na lang, ano. So first off, I would like to thank all our media friends for this time, and most especially Attorney Hector Villacorta, because at least now I am assured that I have a shoulder to cry on.
Thank you. I will cry on your shoulder because I am now unemployed.
Anyway, the office is newly created. And I used to be a chief executive officer of a city in Mindanao. I thought handling a city is difficult. Right now, this is the most difficult job I have because it is a newly created office. And I realized that a newly created office cannot just appoint anyone because we are supposed to have an HRMPSB, a Human Resource Merit and Personnel Selection Board. Now, an HRMPSB cannot come by just as easily because there is no regular employees on the first place. So this is getting to be a chicken egg issue because even as we want to appoint regular employees, we have to rely on the HRMPSB of any office wanting to help us. Otherwise, we will not be able to start our office because any appointment cannot be made by the commission without a selection process called HRMPSB. And so, even our procurement cannot be done without the HRMPSB selecting another set of personnel called the Bids and Awards Committee. Having said this, the first thing that I did when I sat down on the latter part of 2020, which is COVID times, was to communicate to the Office of the President, the commission being under the Office of the President, and prayed that they appoint for us or choose for us a selection board so that we can have our regular employees. Very unfortunately, they were not able to do that tasks. So we were like volleyball thrown from one office to the other until finally the Office of the President said, let the SWD do the selection of regular employees for the National Commission of Senior Citizens. Unfortunately, a lot of incidents happened during the interim, and that includes elections, that includes the length of time by which the offices process certain Office of the President. But that the Office of the President passed on the responsibility to the DSWD. So until regular employees are appointed for us to be able to create the HRMPSB, we are in perpetual limbo. Nasa ano po kami? Ano pangalan yan? Purgatorio. Neither in heaven nor in hell.
Chairman, we will do what we can. Anyway, full-time unemployed ako ngayon as a senior citizen. So with the few friends that we have in the Senate and in Malacanang, we can help in our own little way. I'm trying to tell my technical people to include Special Assistant Cesar Yamuta. Are you able to give the slide presentation already, Assistant Yamuta?
Sir, disabled pa rin yung share screen ko, sir. Hindi pa na-enable. Disabled pa rin. Host, please lang.
Your connection, internet connection is unstable.
Sa kanya yung sir, disabled.
Anyway, sir, tignan natin how it can be solved a little bit later.
Yeah, I'll get out first, then I'll get back again.
Okay. Thank you.
So maybe I'll just still continue with the discussion. Pero that is the thing that we are facing right now. We cannot go into the procurement process because we don't have regular employees to be members of BAC. We cannot appoint new employees as yet because we don't have an HRPSB. And as a consequence, moving forward, ang ginawa natin is we don't want to waste government time. So we negotiated with DSWD over the transfer, but at the same time, we know that the transfer is tedious because it may require government reports, documents, and in the middle of the year, the tendency would be they cannot as yet transfer because if it requires financial reports, medyo alanganin pag mid of the year. So these are the things that we are facing. But at the same time, in our strategic meetings and our strategic planning, we realize that the National Commission of Senior Citizens may and must not focus only on the welfare issues. Even as we know that right now the DSWD is taking care of the welfare issues, we are looking into the very good potentials of the seniors. And I am referring to all seniors, the 12.3 million of this. Looking at the demographics, for instance, we found out that 40% of the senior citizens of this country are still working in the fields as farmers and as fishermen. And so we are saying we are still part of production. It's not, that 40% is very significant. Now, but those who are working in business and civil service are forced by law to retire at 60 and 65. In other words, even as we still want to do our work, this law has limited us in the sense that if we still want to work, we cannot anymore contribute to the insurance systems, except that we can still work as consultants receiving our salaries, but there is no insurance systems that covers us. So this in itself is a thing that provides a cap. Ang tanong ko, why are we limiting ourselves? Why is government limiting itself? So I think this is one good discussion for our legislators to realize that there are so much in resources available that we are not using because we have made a law that tends to restrain production.
Mentioning chairman, dahil 65 dapat na mag-retire ang usual government employee. At sa private naman, andyan yung usually at 60 they are already available for retirement. Are you now saying we should look into continuing employability of our senior citizens even after 65 years of age?
Yeah, I will pick up from there, Panyero. Give me some 5 minutes to move. I may have no signal, but I'll go back in 5 minutes.
Okay,
thank you. Maybe I should ask Commissioner Raymar to discuss some more points.
Commissioner Raymar, will you please take it up from there? You have the floor, sir.
Yes, good afternoon ulit, mga kabaro. As Chairman was saying, marami kaming unique doon sa NCSC because unang-una, the law provides that it should be under the office of the President, and yet the functions will be culled from the DSWD. Hindi kagaya ng mga ibang department na kapag kinuha from one department, doon din manggagaling yung kanilang or ibang commissions. Kagaya for example ng Anti-Poverty Commission, under siya ng DSWD, yung pagka-create sa kanya, DSWD pa rin ang supervisory agency sa kanila. Samantalang yung sa amin, iba. The law provides that the NCSC shall be under the office of the President, yet the functions are transferred from that of the DSWD. Yun yung unang-unang issue. Pangalawa, we cannot as yet assume the functions na galing sa DSWD kasi masyado siyang maraming kaakibat na subsidy. Like for example, yung social pension. Yung social pension sa current year, we are talking of about 25 billion with the B. Yun yung ipinamimigay na 500 a month for every indigent senior citizen pursuant to the law. Ang isang problema namin diyan, the law was created in July 2019. It became effective in September 2019 technically. Pagkatapos nakalagay doon sa law that in 6 months from its creation or from its effectivity, kailangan the NCSC shall promulgate the IRR. Ang problema, the law was passed in 2019, but it was only in 2020 when the President appointed 3 commissioners. One in January, the other in March, and then chairman was appointed in September of 2020. So 3 commissioners is not yet a quorum. So the commission then cannot legally promulgate the IRR. It was only in January of 2021 when the fourth commissioner constituting a quorum was appointed. So from the appointment of the fourth commissioner, they worked to adopt or to promulgate the IRR. The IRR was actually approved by them sometime in June 22 of 2021. But then it has to pass through a process of consultation with the concerned agencies like the DSWD, DBM, DILG. So it was published in October 4 of 2021, and it became effective 15 days thereafter on October 19, 2021. Now, in October 19, 2021, because of the promulgation of the IRR, which became effective, at saka pa lang pwede ngayon mag-umpisa na mag-negotiate with the DSWD kung paano ito-transfer yung functions. Ang problema ngayon, bago yung agency. The agency is under the Office of the President, and yet the functions will be coming from the DSWD. An agency like us cannot hire employees in permanent positions because there is a law, the Civil Service Law, that you cannot hire unless it passes through the HRMPSB or the selection board. So since bago yung the composition of a selection board is at least 5 regular employees of high ranking, at least second or third level. So ang pwede lang maging chairman and members ng isang HRMPSB or Bids and Awards Committee for that matter is a third level, either second or third level. Either executive director siya or director siya ng isang section ng agency. So since wala pang regular employees, hindi makapag-hire ng regular employees. So normally, it's the agency concerned. Dapat sana yung Office of the President because the law says this commission shall be under the Office of the President. But then during the time in 2022, kasi they promulgated the IRR in October of 2021, which was already the campaign or the filing, the deadline for filing of the COC or Certificate of Candidacy for the 2022 election. So medyo iba na yung structure, iba na yung kondisyon. Hindi ka na basta-basta pwedeng mag-appoint, hindi ka na pwede basta-basta mag-purchase ng mga gamit na gagamitin ng komisyon. So ang unang-unang ginawa ng commission when I was not yet a commissioner was to ask for an approved OSSP or the staffing pattern. Ito yung ilang bang empleyado ang kailangan ng komisyon. And it was submitted to the DBM, I think sometime in September or August of 2021. It was finally approved by the DBM in December 21 of 2021. So noong December 21, meron ng approved na kung ilan yung pwedeng maging empleyadong regular ng NCSC. But then, in the absence for want of an HRMPSB or selection board, the commission cannot hire. So nagpunta, yung sinasabi ni Chairman kanina, the commission went to the Office of the President to ask for assistance. Baka pwedeng mag-hire ng 15 high-ranking officers ng NCSC para makapag-constitute na ng HRMPSB para doon sa hiring ng mga iba pa. During the time, dahil malapit na yung transition from PRRD to the next would-be president, which ultimately became PBBM, ayaw ng OP. So the OP suggested that the NCSC goes back to the DSWD. So nagbalik sa DSWD, ang problema nun, there was an election ban on hiring. So kumuha muna ang NCSC ng clearance or ng exemption from the from the COMELEC, and when it was granted, ang susunod na hiningi ng NCSC ng DSWD is the clearance or approval of the civil service for the DSWD to conduct the selection of an agency that is not under the DSWD. So the NCSC went to the Civil Service Commission through a letter dated February 1 of 2022. Ang problema nun, February 2 is the date of the expiration of the term of the 2 commissioners of the Civil Service Commission. So walang quorum. And the remaining commissioner then, in the person of Commissioner Lisada, was unwilling to decide on herself. So kailangan munang maghintay ng i-nominate ni PRRD. So when now Commissioner Nograles was appointed by PRRD in the interim, nag-follow up na naman kami. And when came the time na aprobahan niya na, he was bypassed. So sabi niya, teka muna, hindi muna yan. So we were actually victim of circumstances, kaya hindi kami makapag-hire ng regular employees. And in the absence of those people, we cannot really effectively do the functions. We cannot even purchase the necessary equipments contained in our capital outlay para sa effective na pag-assume namin ng functions ng DSWD of programs and functions pertaining to senior citizens. So yun yung sitwasyon ngayon. And yung program naman, meron pang isang problema. The MOA between the DSWD and the NCSC was only executed in June 29 this year, 2022. The problem is that the budget for next year, for 2023, for the senior citizens, was with the DSWD prior to the signing of the MOA. So since ang budget call na ginagawa, ang budget ng mga agencies sinasubmit sa DBM ng May 30, in May 30 of this year, it was still the DSWD that submitted the proposed budget for the senior citizens, the function of which will be transferred to us in 2023. So DSWD pa ang nag-submit sa DBM. So merong kulatilya when the MOA was signed, merong kulatilya that those funds and programs that will incur to the DSWD, ita-transfer na yun sa NCSC. Another problem is the lapsing into law of a bill of the Senior Citizen Party List, what became Republic Act 11916, which among others increases the social pension from 500 a month to 1,000 a month. So kung kung if the budget submitted by the DSWD for the 500 per month for 2023 is 26.9 billion, effectively it will be 52 billion para maging 1,000 a month per indigent senior citizen. So ang problema dun ngayon is that the senior citizens are now expecting it. Wala pa siyang budget. Yung budget nga for the original na 500 is still with the DSWD na ita-transfer pa lang sa NCSC sa 2023. And yet, there is another requirement for another 26 billion to meet the increase from 500 to 1,000. Yung law na yon that lapsed into law, yung bill na yun that lapsed into law that became RA 11916 does not only pertain to the increase. There are other benefits there na kailangan na NCSC na ngayon ang mag-promulgate ng IRR. For example, there was a provision in Republic Act 7432 which was amended by said RA 11916 providing for government assistance to senior citizens. And ang isang provision doon is that when an entity, an organization, or a company hires senior citizen, there is a portion of the salaries paid to the senior citizen that will become tax deduction. I'm not sure what's the right term, whether it's deduction from income tax or considered as an expense. But then it's now in the hands of the NCSC to promulgate the IRR that will regulate the implementation of that additional provision, which is actually not an additional provision. It was only a reiteration of a certain provision in RA 7432 that was reiterated and expanded. Kasi nilagyan doon yung provision nga ng pagbibigay ng additional na tax exemption or tax exemption sa mga establishments na mag-hire o mag-i-employ ng mga senior citizen. So yung pinag-uusapan nyo kanina ni Chairman on assistance to is also in effect partially considered by the new law na NCSC na ang kailangan mag-promulgate ng IRR. We are now looking forward into effective transition sana. Right now, we are trying to study kung paano yung ginagawa ng DSWD, and in the past few months, we've been going around and we were able to recognize the problems. Ang DSWD kasi ngayon, ang ginagawa nila is they encash the money, pagkatapos iniipon yung mga senior citizen in one place, pagkatapos dinidistribute ng cash. Now, if we review yung initial statement ni President Marcos, nang sabi niya dapat yung distribution na yan ng social pension or any other ayuda from the government must be made virtual. Kailangan digital na. So ang suggestion, ang programa ni President Marcos is that pag magdi-distribute ka ng ayuda, kailangan baka pwede nang gamitin yung mga cash card o kaya yung mga money transfer para mabawasan na yung pamumulitika. So this is another issue na kailangan naming sagutin. Because there is a bureaucratic issue pag distribute ng social pension. An agency like us or an agency cannot withdraw money unless the person doing the withdrawal is a permanent employee. So since wala pa nga kaming permanent employee as yet because of the want of the selection board, kaya meron kaming problema ngayon kung ililipat sa amin yan. We cannot really do it. So ang unang-una naming pinag-aksayahan o pinagbubuhusan ng pansin ngayon is how to request the DSWD or the Office of the President, because we were requesting the DSWD to transfer the function to the Office of the President to forward it. Ma-hire na sana yung aming 15 nire-request ng mga opisyal. And pag na-hire yon, from there, we can create our own selection board and pwede nang mag-hire ng permanent employees to fill the list of employees in the OSSP or the staffing pattern approved by the DBM. Now, meron pa rin siyang isang medyo sensitive na issue. Yung kasing DSWD na nagdi-distribute ng social pension, meron silang humigit kumulang 800 na mga contractual or contract of service na employees. Sila yung over the years, sila yung gumagawa ng functions nung pag-withdraw o pag-distribute ng cash. Ang nasa isip namin sa komisyon, kung pwede sana na kung mag-hire kami, unahin muna namin yung mga nandun na sa DSWD na social pension staff. Ang problema nga, since ita-transfer pa lang yung function sa amin sa 2023, pero kailangan kaming mag-hire ngayon, kapag nag-hire kami ngayon, at yung merong mga workers ng social pension na ililipat sa amin na yung function ay gagawin ng mga ma-hire namin ngayon, magkakaroon ng mga madidislocate na mga nagtatrabaho sa DSWD for social pension. So ito yung mga sensitive na mga bagay na kinukonsider natin because we don't want somebody being dislocated simply because we already hired from outside, yung hindi nag-ano sa DSWD or hindi nagtatrabaho sa social pension. So pag-uusapan lang yan, minsan hindi ko na alam kung paano i-approach. Pagka nag-uusap kami kuminsan nila chairman, medyo nagtitingin na lang kami because we don't know where to start. Pero so ganito kalaki yung but the good thing is medyo receptive naman ang Office of the President, ang DSWD, naintindihan naman nila yung aming concerns. Kaya palagay ko within the next few days we will really be able to start doing brisk working to end up running para pagdating ng transition o pag-transfer sa amin medyo mas handa na kami kesa dun sa nag-i-imagine pa lang kami yun. So yun lang muna po. Maraming salamat. I saw Commissioner Rainier is now online.
Thank you, Commissioner Mansilungan. Before I leave you to go to another speaker, can I just get the gist of what you are saying? Kayo wala sa budget ngayon ng GAA. Wala kayo ngayon personality as your own budget dahil wala pa kayo nung mga 15 regular employees, wala pa kayo nung HR, MP, SD. Marami kayong birthing pains na kailangan yata nyo doctorate ng reorganization para magkaroon kayo ng tao at saka ng budget to work. Dahil ngayon, ang sabi po ninyo, nasa DSWD pa ang mga functions at ang mga tao. So we'll keep this in mind as one of the knots that we have to unravel before you can fully function as an office. May we go first just a little way back to Chairman before we go to the Commissioner, another Commissioner. Chairman Quijano, are you already in your office,
Yeah.
Chairman?
Thank you very much, Attorney Hector. I'd like to point out some things. Number one, we did our best, Attorney Hector. And for that, we are proud of it because in 2020, even as Comraymar said, there were only 3 of us, we saw to it that our plaint will reach the legislative branch. Even as we were not included in the National Expenditure Program, we tried to squeeze in. And so Senate gave us 25 million in terms of budget in 2020. And that means that that budget was for 2021. That 25 million was to a lot of people very small. And for us, it was good enough because the moment we have a 1 peso budget, we will already have the legal personality. So yung 25 million po namin, Attorney Hector, was actually a blessing. However, when Commissioner Raymar and I said that we had difficulty with the back, that meant that the 25 million was actually practically nahirapan kaming gumasta. Kasi wala kaming bids and awards committee, wala kaming procurement. So one of the lessons as we want to write a book is to really say, even if you have billions, if you don't have a bids and awards committee, that's going to be useless. Yan po yung lesson namin. So actually, yan yung crux of the matter right now because we already have gained some personality because in 2021, we have 25 billion. This year, it has been increased to 100 plus million. But this 100 plus million is to be used for MOE, and one item would be capital outlay, which again cannot be procured because wala pang back. And so this is the limbo that I am talking about. But so before describing the better things in life, kasi limbo pang pinag-usapan natin, maybe we should hear Commissioner Rainier Cruz, and then I'll pick it up. I hope that I can do the sharing myself if granting Brad Cesar is not given the power to share. Commissioner Rainier, perhaps Attorney Hector.
Yes, Chairman. Commissioner Rainier. Tuloy po kayo, Commissioner.
Good afternoon po sa ating lahat, especially po sa kapihan na SP. I'm very happy I was invited to this forum so that we can gain some insights on the views from other sectors of society. Medyo lately lang po ako nakapasok sa sa Zoom meeting, but I think I can go along with the discussion.
Narinig ko kanina about the yung problema sa back namin at sa HR. I think hopefully this year we can solve all those problems. Hopefully this year we can already procure some of the line items that we are planning to purchase. We have talked with the other agencies, particularly Malacanang, regarding the approval of our purchase for some of our capital outlay equipment. And hopefully yung HR problem will also be solved siguro this year. Yung kasing HR ng DSWD, transfer po sa Region 4B. Siya na po ang regional director ng Region 4B ng DSWD. So yung HR na inaasahan namin sa DSWD, wala na po sa DSWD. Pero hopefully we can follow it up to sa Region 4B. Baka mahabol pa. Yun lang po, Attorney Hector.
Commissioner Cruz, how about
Yes,
your personnel? Meron na ho ba kayong personnel services budget?
Meron na po. In fact, we have already hired some personnel to sa clustered region namin. Although puro COS po sila. Contractual services lang. But they have already started working. They are already coordinating with the LGUs. Tsaka yung pong sila na po nag-survey sa mga LGUs na concern ng NCSC.
Thank you. Pero ang sabi ni Chairman kanina at ni Commissioner Raymar, yun daw mga tao ng DSWD na nagtatrabaho dyan sa senior citizen ay nangangamba rin na baka mawalan sila ng trabaho paglipat sa inyo. Meron ba kayong migration strategy para you can use some of them para hindi naman ma-unemployed?
Aba, yan po yung i-discuss po namin with the DSWD, particularly with Secretary Tulfo, on how we can migrate this SOCPEN personnel from DSWD to NCSC. Isa po yan sa discussion points namin kasi meron po kaming timeline on when to really devolve these functions to NCSC. Siguro medyo busy pa lang sila kasi nga bago rin sila lahat.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ano yung presentation ni Sir Yamuta? Makikita na ba natin? Sir Cesar Yamuta, naka-on na ba yung iyong presentation?
Yung host na lang sir kasi sa akin, okay sa kanya.
O hindi lang makapasok si assistant?
And I would like to say Attorney Hector is part of it, created an agency which focus is the senior citizen sector. This is Republic Act 11350. And not only did it establish the National Commission of Senior Citizens, by the way, Paniero, this is the word of Congress po. Sa National Commission of Senior Citizens. Hindi po amin ito. Kaya if there are comments, if it is off or on or for, ito pong bahala. Please pardon the grammar. It also abolishes the monitoring board and therefore we are left with the creation of another board where we can sound off the actions of the National Commission of Senior Citizens. Next slide, please. Actually, we had lots of laws earlier on. 7432 says that senior citizens are pillars in nation building. And so as pillars, we would like to claim heroism because for the past several decades, for more than 60 years, senior citizens have been helping build a strong country.
But like I said, as we grow old, we have to face the realities of aging, and therefore 7432 also says that there must be privileges, welfare issues that needs to be given to senior citizens. 7432, 9257, 9994 are all Republic Acts related with each other because it recognizes the senior citizens as very important persons in our country. On the other hand, it provides certain benefits to senior citizens. So all this, we would like to share you the copy. These are the laws, and you have also international agreements, which all in sum supports the growing strength of the National Commission of Senior Citizens and the senior citizens as a sector in our country as a whole. Next slide, please. So, generally we're here because the senior citizens are a significant number. Maybe we can move fast on the general policy, Kuya Cesar. We are saying that the senior citizens constitute 1 for every 10 Filipinos. Although this may not be a significant number from that point of view, because in Japan, for every 10 Japanese, there are 4 senior citizens, and in the Philippines, there just is 1 for every 10. We are actually looking at the future, and we are saying that 15 years from now, the number may double. And the implication tends to really be challenging because the labor force participation rate may also be challenged. As more and more senior citizens grow in number, the number of full-time workers may have a bigger burden to contribute, in the sense that they will have to work even harder, they will have to contribute even more taxes, they will have to contribute in bigger amounts for the Social Security, just so that the dependent sector of our economy will be supported as they grow in number. That tends to be the prophet of doom side. But on the other hand, like we are saying, we would like, as a sector, we would like to soar. And we are claiming as a sector, the senior citizen sector, that S, we have the strength. O, we have the opportunity. A, we have the aspiration and the dream and the zeal to contribute more to this country. And we have the wherewithal, we have the resolve. So we hope that we will be given a chance and a share to soar together with the rest of the economy in contributing something more for our country. Attorney Hector and members of the media, we would like to really be a pillar in nation building. And we hope we can soar with our country. Next, please, Kuya Cesar. We would like to say that the tools provided us by law tends to be comprehensive and complete. One, because in Republic Act 11350, we are mandated to ensure the full implementation of laws, policies, and programs of government, review and conducts all these laws, and provides a lot of support, recommend appropriate measures to be adopted both by the legislative branch and the executive branch. Next, please. Formulate policies and promote the well-being of the seniors. Next. Conduct participatory processes of media, information, education, and communication. And that is the reason why we are here this afternoon. Next, establish cooperation among, number 1, local government, number 2, national government, number 3, international institutions. Next. And coordinate with the rest of the world. Next. And then, of course, convene the advisory body. Next. And develop mechanisms and procedures for the senior citizens. Next. Then, of course, we are actually defining the succession system as well, because we know we will have to go when our time comes. And so our commissioners have certain terms. We have to see to it that there is a succession. We also have to see to it that the organizational structure of the Senior Citizens Commission will even grow to be reliable. Next. So, I don't think we need to define aging, but for purposes of consciousness, we are saying we are facing this reality, everyone, Attorney Hector. And I'm happy I'm older than you. But then again, we are saying all those who are going our way will also have to prepare themselves, because starting from birth, we have to accept the fact that in terms of molecular and cellular strength, this life on Earth is going to be challenged. There's no such thing as forever. However, next slide, please. We are saying that growing old may mean 98, as in the case of JPE, or 96, as in the case of the Queen. But we want to live a more significant life by saying, perhaps we have to help define optimal longevity and say, even as we reach 98, if life is meaningful because we can still move around, think a lot, speak like JPA, and recall the many laws that he has created, the many actions that he has contributed, then maybe we say aging is meaningful. Next. So we have our vision, we have our mission, and we are saying this is for the senior citizens of this country. Next. The core programs, just very quickly. Like we are saying, there is that faith that we can still help develop and build our nation. We call it as SECADNA. And I have realized lately, even as I come from Mindanao, I have realized that yung mga padyak pala ay tinatawag din dito as SICAD. Eh yan po yung proseso of exerting effort to be able to do something. The Senior Citizens Action for Development and Nation Building. We are starting to organize those who know how to do business advisory. Maybe they can train the youth to do business advisory and they can do business advisory themselves. There are new elected officials in this country, and we realize that the market is affected as the learning curve of our newly elected officials are still starting. And so we are asking the senior citizens to lecture the newly created offices of the newly elected officials, the new BAC, the new mayor, the new governor, the new congressman, maybe even the national leadership, how to do the planning, programming, procurement, budgeting, project management and monitoring and evaluation. All these things, the senior citizens can help. There are many other things that the senior citizens can do. Still, the question is, what is it that the senior citizens can leave to the next generation to be able to have a strong future? So yan po yung advocacy namin na sana matulungan kami ng mga kaibigan natin sa media, because we believe that a strong republic will also have strong senior citizenry. And in the olden days, the senior citizens were leaders. We are actually saddened by the fact that if we create senior citizens as basket cases, kawawa at binibigyan lamang, nasasayang yung nasa senior citizen as good potentials. So we are balancing. We are saying that, yes, we need to support the senior citizens that need attention in terms of health, in terms of welfare, but at the same time, let's not forget the fact that the senior citizens are well trained. So, as we advocate senior citizens to be productive, the next item will also be, but we must be healthy to be productive. So, we are having the program of wellness, health, emergency response, and all. We hope that media can also help us awaken and raise the consciousness of all seniors. I think the senior citizens are capable of helping other senior citizens. Yan po yung advocacy na gusto natin gawin. Seniors helping seniors. And of course, government must help seniors. And of course, business and society must help seniors as they need the attention and the karampatang health attention. Next is secure. And this tends to really be addressing the rights of the seniors, na huwag apihin ang seniors, and of course, protektahan yung Club 20. I hope Attorney Hector is using his rights as member of the Club 20. Yun pong 20% discount. These are the benefits, and we hope that we can mapalapad pa po natin yung securing the rights of the senior citizens. Etong next item is actually the one that is to be transferred to us by DSWD. So as we are learning and preparing for it, nag-aaral na po kami at nakikita namin we can do it better with the help of our media friends. The next is the blue box, which is senior citizens tend to be vulnerable, especially during disasters, man-made or natural. So we need to ask our public to help assess the risks that senior citizens are facing. Include in our programs, not only in government and business, safety of the senior citizens. Of course, we need to do programs. We need to coordinate, and we need to do participatory process, especially for the senior citizens, importantly for the media, the information and communication sectors of our society. And finally, this is very important, and we just came from some friends. We are really asking everyone, please help us build a database. As we were given this new mandate, we found out wala pa pong database ang senior citizen. Going to the PSA, hindi pa po complete, at saka hindi ho kompleto yung mga profiles. Going to the DSWD, they're saying yung data po namin ay yung binibigyan lang namin. So if there are 12.3 million senior citizens, ang binibigyan ng DSWD ay 4.1 million pa lang. So, Attorney Hector, perhaps your links can help us bring to who are the experts in the database building. Right now, what we can think of are our allies. Our allies are local government. But then again, we found out that although they have the names and some data, hindi po kompleto yung data nila, wala po silang health profile. And one of the dreams is, again, one of the accomplishments of Congress is the universal social pension. Lahat na Filipino po is already covered by the universal social pension. And so one of our hope is really, pagka lahat na senior citizen ay magkaroon ng annual, regular, medical, dental, optical, and oral examination, sana po mas natutulungan sila. Isang hirap ni senior citizen yung pandinig. And one of my discoveries, as it happened to myself, is the last oral examination I had was 25 years ago. Kung walang regular examination ang senior, necessarily there is a generation gap between the senior and the next generation kasi nahihirapan na at nabibingi na. Same with dental, same with optical, etc. Alam nyo po, may budget ang PhilHealth. Lahat na citizens ay pwede nang makapag-outpatient examination. It is really just a matter of telling the public, hey, have your annual physical examination and we'll have a better managed country as far as yung maintenance medicine is concerned. Alam nyo, we are a little upset when we learn na may mga maintenance medicine na tinatapon at binabaon dahil nag-e-expire. So, providing information to our health sector may help remove the inefficiency. Can we now proceed to the next slide, Brad Cesar? Yeah. So, like we said, our number may increase to double in the next 15 years. Our government, if it is not ready, may have a bigger burden. We look at the family as the first line for the protection of the senior citizen, for the first line of welfare and defense. So we hope you can help us define the dialogue process, the transformative relational process by which our senior citizens will be taken care of, because they are taken care of by the family who are trained to take a look at the welfare of the senior citizens, starting from communication and dialogue. Next, Kuya Cesar. So, we would like to hope that as we share the learning process in senior citizenship to be, this is lifelong. It just did not start when we were 60. We should have been taking the preventive and the maintenance medicine earlier. We should have taken the colostrum earlier because colostrum builds our immunity. All these things is really a life course approach, and we would like to ask our local government counterparts and the national government, let us be age-friendly. Let us not just be age-friendly because the roads and the pavements and the buildings are accessible by the PWD and the seniors. We must also do all the health and the dialogue approaches by which the senior citizens and all ages are given attention to. So on October 1 to 7, Panyero, we will be celebrating our Elderly Week celebration from October 1 to 7. And we would like to ask you to help us. Tell everyone, let us love the senior citizens as the senior citizens are also passionately loving our country. we have programs, and we hope that we can include not just the medical mission, not just the tree planting, but more importantly, the dialogue process with the youth and the senior citizens exchanging views. This is intergenerational advocacy that we are making. And so we would like to thank you for the time that you are given us. Please, we have our care, and with your warmth and care, we can be stronger. Thank you. We can be contacted sa Mabini Hall ng Malacanang. Our email address is ph.ncsc@gmail.com. God bless, friends in the media.
Thank you very much, Chairman Attorney Franklin Quijano, for that presentation. We congratulate you for all that you have done in spite of your birthing problems as an organization on budget, personnel, migration from DSWD, and all these problems. We really hope and pray that you can solve all these problems within the year. Our friends from the media, we are now open for any question to any of our presenters. Just raise your hand and we'll recognize you. Is Mike around? Any other person who would like to make a comment? Commissioner Cruz, would you want to say something on the presentation?
Attorney.
Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question, I think.
Attorney?
Yes, come in.
Yeah, good afternoon, Attorney.
Andy.
Just listening. Thank you very much. Glad to hear from you, Attorney Franklin Quijano. No? That's a good presentation. No? I'm also one of a new senior now. I'm 61. I'm from
Welcome to the club.
It's a good presentation, and I understand what your problems are as far as the structure of your office is concerned. Ang ano ko lang po, since nasabi nga po ninyo, Chairman, nagsisimula pa lang kayo, no? Do you have a good figure of how many is the senior citizen right now? Because as of 2020, I understand that there is 12.3 million, no? As of 2020, which represent around 11.31% of the Filipino population in 2020. What about it's already 2022, no? Ilan na po ba ngayon ang population ng mga senior citizen dito sa atin?
Given a conservative growth of seniors celebrating their birthday every day, and ang daming seniors pumapasok, ito nga si Sir Andy, bagong senior, di ba? I think the number will increase, and we are very protective of the seniors. Kaya galit man si senior citizen noong COVID kasi hindi siya pinalalabas. At kaya na-invento yung plantito at plantita dahil hindi nga napalabas. Doon naman gumawa yung senior citizen sa mga bahay. We are really saying that the longevity of the seniors is ever increasing, and more and more seniors are really coming in. So that 12.3 million can easily grow into about 12.7 million for this year. Again, ang cause of alarm ko is not this year or next year. Kasi in 2040, dodoble yung numero. Pag dodoble yung numero, the families will also have to prepare for it. Not only in terms of food, in medicine and all. Also, the complexities of urbanization may also leave some seniors to be abandoned. So yan mga care facilities will also have to be prepared. So kaya nakikita ko kailangan gumawa ng isang project. And first time, I would like to apologize to Commissioner Rainier and Commissioner Raymar. First time na ni-raise ko itong Project Familia. Look at the senior being part of the family and the nation being part of the family. We have to prepare for something for the seniors as well.
I see. Thank you very much, Attorney. Attorney, meron pa akong isang point na kasi Commission on Population and Development or POPCOM Undersecretary Juan Antonio Perez III once said that the aging population of the Philippines does not pose a burden to the economy as of yet, no? But and this is a good window now in the next decade that we hope to that this government and the next government could take advantage by coming up with the right policies for the Filipino people. And I think that in your presentation kanina, I think that will be a good point to start with, because an aging population really puts a strain on the country's workforce that we have seen. Lalo na dito sa mga developed countries as far as in Asia, lalo na in Japan and South Korea, which has already an aging population right now. Ours is not yet that we haven't reached that point right now, right, Attorney?
From the technical point of view, Japan and Korea are aged population, and we are still in the process of aging. And yet, there are certain things that we would like to celebrate. And hope that the friends of Attorney Hector will support us. May move po kasi yung party list Attorney Hector na i-lift yung retirement age. But it is not just lifting the retirement age that we should do. Kasi in the US, people can retire 3 times Mm-hmm. Or again, pardon me, Commissioner Rainier Cruz. Si Commissioner Cruz kasi is a retired general. Some of his colleagues retire at 56. But before reaching 56, yung may mga iba na may mga relatives at kaibigan sa US, nag-apply na as immigrant. So as soon as they reach 56, they fly already to US, apply for work, and retire there. And in fact, retired 2 times in the US. I look at this not as a problem, but as an opportunity. What if Congress and Senate will change our retirement law and say, pwede nang mag-retire at age 40, and then makakapag-kolekta na ng retirement benefits at age 40, but makaka-apply uli. And then at age 60, mag-retire na naman uli at mag-apply uli. And at age 80 or even 85, mag-retire uli at mag-apply uli. If we have a multiple retirement system, then we shall have said we have done all our best in terms of contributing our strength, our life, our passion to our country and to God. And we shall have contributed much in terms of multiple retirement. Rather than face an enslaving 65 retire ka na. Kawawa naman si 65 ay malakas pa, pinare-retire na dahil nga porsigido na sa batas natin. So I think there are many things that we can do together, especially if our media friends will help us advocate for this.
Attorney Villacorta, I have 2 more questions if I may,
Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
This is regarding the vaccination of the seniors. And according to the World Health Organization, our vaccination program as far as the elderly are concerned, medyo hindi raw unacceptable daw po, sabi po ng World Health Organization. Ano po ba yung dito? What is your take on this, Attorney Franklin?
Earlier on, Sir Andy, when I took over as chairperson, the first chairperson pa kasi tayo pinag-isipan ko na talaga, paano yung senior hindi pinalalabas? That was September of 2020 at the height of COVID. And so we realized that You know, COVID is an urbanization issue. It starts with China, goes to Manila, goes to Cebu, goes to Davao, and reaches the rural area last. Ang nakikita ako kasi, dala ito ng tao. But if we define safe spaces, yan po yung nakikita akong pwedeng gawin ng local government eh. Kasi ito, debate na naman ngayon. Kailangan ba mag-face mask o hindi? Eh sabi ni local government ng Cebu at ng kung saan pa, pagka open space at ventilated, hindi ka na kailangan mag-face mask. So it actually buttresses and reinforces our theory that open spaces can be constructed by communities and by governments. Pagka may open space ka, ventilated at magaling yung pagkagawa, then you can have the senior citizens not affected. Then again, the story of vaccination. I guess all of us, si Attorney Hector, nung grade 1 ito siya, nababakunahan ito eh. Pumapayag itong mabakunahan kasi that was the call of the day. Naglilinya at nag-uunahan kung sino ang hindi nasasaktan. yun yung ano. And therefore, vaccination was really part of it. The theory of building immunity. When we were born, we are immune. Then we get our booster. The booster that we get comes from the mother, through the mother's milk and a substance called colostrum. Alam niyo po, Sir Andy, hanggang ngayon, umiinom ako ng colostrum. Hindi po galing sa mother's milk. Galing na po sa cow, carabao and all. But we are saying that we have to really sustain our immunity. Because as we grow old, our molecular and cellular integrity is challenged. May natural challenges, may artificial challenge. Yung natural, hindi ko na-explain. Yung artificial na lang. Hindi tayo natutulog ng maaga, uminom tayo, na ano pa. Lahat na bisyo, pati kasinungalingan. So, this stresses, reduces our cellular and molecular integrity. This increases aging. Kaya nakikita ko, and we have been advocating this, the whole commission, for vaccination as well. Marami na pong seniors na bakunahan. I've been accompanying some teams na gustong pumunta. Kasi at first, yung vaccination teams ayang pumunta sa bahay-bahay. Ngayon, pumupunta na sila. So we really are saying na dapat lahat magpabakuna. There are areas of challenges, however. And one of them is BARM. Mababa ang bakunahan sa BARM. 35% lang po. Ano na yan? Magandang balita na yan kung may 40%. The explanation is very, very awkward. But then again, these are the realities. So, we included ourselves. Na voluntaryo po ako. Let me be part of the BARM, the BARM program. Because really, we need to be persuasive. But we know that in BARM, even the elective officials have difficulty convincing because their religiosity directs them to their leaders in the religious sector. So we hope that we can be effective in BARM. As it is right now, I think we are addressing the COVID very well. But what we are now worried about is the overarching health programs that we should be implementing. Kaya ang advocacy namin, Sir Andy, is really sana lahat na seniors ay magkaroon ng annual physical exam. Kasi kung may annual physical exam ang lahat, may health profile ang lahat, yung maintenance medicine ng lahat ay mabigbigyan pansin. Yung preventive medicine will come in. Hindi na kailangang maghintay na magkasakit pa at dadalhin sa hospital. At least anticipated na yung dapat gawin. Yan po.
Yeah, good. Maganda yung inyong maganda yung inyong pantunampot dito sa mga seniors. Isa na lang po ang aking katanungan, Attorney Franklin, and this is regarding yung nabanggit niyo po kanina, the database with the OSCA or the Office of the Senior Citizens Affairs sa mga local governments, talagang one thing, meaning maraming kulang, po. Isa pa po rito, regarding yung implementation na rin po ng mga, kasi maraming mga seniors na rin po talaga ang nangangailangan ng mga, lalo na po sa mga gamot, yung mga discounts, po. Yung implementation po ng discounts, ano po ba yun talaga ngayon? Meron po ba talagang panuntunan? Kasi minsan nakikita ko rin po sa mga restaurants, marami po yung nakikipag-discussion pa rin din dito na ito ro kailangan nila. O kaya yung bang, bakit ito lang ang pumasok sa discounts nila? Ano ang ano niyo po rito sa mga implementation? Iba-iba po ang mga nai-implement sa batas yata tungkol dito sa ating discounts.
Earlier on, Sir Andy, as DSWD did not transfer the function to us, we were saying, dyan lang muna yan kasi masakit ang ulo namin pagka na-transfer yan sa amin. But we have to face the inevitable. Kaya yung mga reklamo ng hindi nag-observe ng 20% discount, na may mga maintenance medicine na binabaon na lang sa lupa dahil hindi na distribute. Yan po yung concern namin na binibigyan pansin ngayon. So we hope that we will be able to abbreviate the process because it should have been difficult for us to meet. Kailangan pa talaga tayo mag-meet sa Manila Hotel. But with the magic of Attorney Hector of the Zoom, magkikita na tayo ngayon. So nakikita ko na we are simplifying things. And I am receiving lots of complaints from all the corners of the country saying na ito yung reklamo namin, ito yung lahat. We are actually addressing them. So, of course, the number is still small, our complement is still small. But we are mandated by law. Yung first function namin is really see to it that the laws are implemented. So, please help us over this. The more we have, in fact, our dream is really, sana magkaroon na kami ng isang empleyado man lang bawat munisipyo. First, the simple reason that may nagkakasakit and we need to give attention to the seniors. May nagbe-birthday and we need to tally the increasing number. At may namamatay and we would like to also give attention to them. There are many things that we can do, but actually we need to convince government that the National Commission of Senior Citizen is a serious business of government, and this increasing number, which will be going to be 30 million in 2050, will really have to be given attention to, like what the PAPCOM is saying. We have a good heads up kasi nagawa itong batas na ito under the support of Attorney Hector ng Congress na ito. We have enough heads up for us to prepare for 2050.
Okay. Sige, Attorney, congratulations din. I know you can do your job very well as the chairman of the National Commission for Senior Citizens, being a mayor yourself of Iligan, and also the chairman of the GRPP's panel way back in 2020, in 1998 also. You being on the ground, I think that will be a big help for for implementing at doing your job on the ground. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Andy. Well, I have the support of a military man who has a lot of experience, and peace can only be had if the military men are convinced that there should be peace.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we have Commissioner Raymar, whose katuwaan niya is insurance. So we want the senior citizens to be protected through averaging, distributing all the risk. Maybe si Gloria may tanong. So,
sige pa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Andy, thank you very much, Chairman. May we now go to Miss Gloria Bailon for her questions. You have the floor.
I'm mute.
Nakamute po.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a 77-year-old senior, and I speak from the viewpoint of one who has lived in Japan and worked with senior citizens in Japan. And they are not called seniors, but silver agers.
Yeah.
And their lifestyle and the programs further are so vastly different from the Philippines. First of all, maybe it's the culture. I don't like to say this, and I may be wrong, but in the Filipino seniors, basically, especially on the poor side, tend to feel that they are entitled. And the sense of entitlement is really very denigrating and also not very good for us seniors ourselves. It's so different in Japan because they are happy, and we have projects like vacant lots are loaned to us. I was one of the program directors because my landlord was a chairman of one of the Borough Seniors Association. So that aside, but I'm just wondering because Chairman Quijano kept on mentioning about medicines, etc. I happen to be a resident of Makati, so I don't have that problem because seniors are well taken care of there via a yellow card. But remember that these are sustained by big businesses. Makati, Taguig, Muntinlupa, these are well-off business focused cities. Therefore, they have lots of assistance for seniors even. And in Makati, we have our own pharmacies where we have actually a regular supply of our maintenance medicine. Okay, and then I'm just wondering because when I was in Japan, the seed money for all activities for seniors and even for others is a so-called contribution to the National Health Insurance Plan. That's the weak equivalent here of our PhilHealth. And so I was wondering whether the law, I haven't read the law, the law that created the act, and maybe in our in the future activities of the commission, they should be talking about, you know, maybe asking people at a certain age to have a special contribution to the seniors' health insurance plan, because there's really no money from government. We keep on telling people we'll do this. Really, no. I really observed it 20%, and I forced them to follow it because I am entitled to it by law, and also because I'm scrimping on my pension. Because every peso counts when you're a senior. So that's my experience. But when I was listening to you, I'm happy that we now have a Seniors Act that will legalize our personality and protect us our rights. And I would be very happy to help with you formulate some plans and special projects. But on the other hand, we must remember always never to compare our elderly with Japan, Korea, the Confucian society, because we have to know that in Confucian society, historically, at age 60, that's why they have a special celebration when you are 60. That's why in the Philippines, our senior age begins at 60, because it's really a celebration of when you are 60 in Asia, you have done well. Meaning to say you are lucky to have been alive by age 60. Diba? In China, they celebrate 60 as very auspicious. But in Confucian society, by age 60 actually, people are willing to be brought to the mountains in ancient times to die because the young generation had to survive because food was scarce and everything else was scarce. But we have to look at this from also this viewpoint, because personally, I don't want seniors. Chairman Quijano was mentioning about seniors looking after seniors. That's really, really very good. But, you know, it's easier said than done because seniors want to be looked after by government. And they think that government fails if they cannot. But, you know, government can only do so much. So we must help ourselves. Seniors must help themselves. And we should not allow it to be politicized by the local governments, because when it's politicized, it becomes inoperative. But my question really is, are we ready? We have, you said, Chairman Quijano, you know, Attorney Quijano, I mistook you for a while for Attorney Douglas Quijano. Because I have a friend named Franklin Quijano from Sullivan University.
Oh.
Yes, so I thought you were the one.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, when we have 100 million as seed money more, did you say it was increased from 25 million? Did you say that?
170.
But the absence of a maybe wards committee, etc., is preventing you from moving from, you know,
moving forward. Yeah.
I also had the experience when I was a senior news editor, because I'm a media practitioner. When I was senior editor of a news agency of government, I was loaned to the DFA, the Visiting Forces Agreement. So I was loaned for 2 years, and then I was also loaned for 2 years in Congress under Congressman Dante Livan. So maybe you should think about that. You know, the head agency will continue to pay. There is no obligation on part, but the person will work under in the senior's office and other things. We should not be so concerned, I think, about the physical, because our seniors that we are now, our time is almost near. But we should be thinking of the next generation, because we don't like our seniors to do this apostolic ministry. I feel so sorry for grandmothers being used by their children to look after their children. I mean, seniors are entitled to enjoy themselves, have a good time. You know, I'm senior citizen of Makati, and every morning I'm happy that in Macdo and in Jollibee, they have seniors group busy eating, talking, busy with friends. But you know, that's a different kind of senior. They can afford senior, but what about they cannot afford senior? Those who drive carts collecting throwaways for sale. So we should really be looking at the angle and developing programs so that we will be happy. It will be a happier society. But at the same time, in instilling a mentality or an attitude where you should not really feel entitled, because that's the biggest mistake. You know, 2 weeks ago, I helped a 75-year-old senior get a senior identity card in her barangay. And I was even suspected of by the municipal office of being a fixer. So I said, because I keep pushing, and they said to me, "Ma'am, nagpi-fixer ho ba kayo?" Sabi ko, "My gosh, no, I'm just helping this, so please help me shorten it." The process, because they require now, they now require birth certificate for seniors. So unfortunately, because I can articulate what I wanted, and I asked the guy of OSCA to give me an alternative. And you know, the alternative for a birth certificate of the senior who doesn't have one and who has difficulty getting one is to show the birth certificate of one of her children.
Correct.
Because that birth certificate will show that she is the mother. It should be acceptable now. I was told not to tell that to anyone because everybody might, but you know, that's very acceptable. Because that I was not a fixer after all, but I was helping. But you know, I was also upset because this old woman said that I could do this and that because the people are afraid of me. I said, no, I don't think they're afraid of me. I think they know exactly what I want, because older people, you know, they tend to go around. They tend to tell so many things. They just needed this. And, you know, I said to them, bureaucrats don't have the patience to listen to all our problems. So you must present yourselves. Do not expect the barangay to know you because you are nobody. We are nobody. You know, the barangay cannot hope to understand all our problems. So we should have teach-ins like that to educate them, not to be so dependent, but to move, exercise a little bit, do things, because our old people tend to think that no, they're 60, so they must just lie around the house and then looking after the apo. It's not a very healthy program for seniors. That's all. So my question really, there's none because you've said everything, except that I just wanted to know if you are really interested in developing a national health insurance plan that could be incorporated into the PhilHealth for seniors. Because, you know, where will they go? I mean, they have to have, in Japan, when I was having this, I could go to a doctor anytime, and it's so good to see seniors. You know, in Japan, seniors love going to hospitals because they have a nice seat, they are waited on, and they don't have to pay anything after a long day talking with the doctors and being taken care of. But here, I, a middle-class person, would hesitate to go to PGH because it smells of death while waiting for that, because the priority is for the very poor. And I also feel that the middle-aged senior citizens are sidelined. So many things to think about.
Arigato gozaimasu, ma'am. Thank you very much. And I can surmise that you understand Cebuano because you went to Silliman University. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, ma'am, you know, I was listening intently, and I think you can share a lot of experiences for us. We are just beginning. We want to learn from the experiences of the other countries. And I know that your Japan experience can be very worthwhile for the Commission to also learn from. Actually, nag-aaral kami at nakikita namin na there are many variations. But what we are also confident about is in the Philippines, we have families to also lean on. We have strong families, and therefore it could also be asset to us. But then again, we are worried that slowly with urbanization baka magkawatak-watak. That's why we are really hoping that we go into the Project Familia. Also, yung issue po ng multiple retirement, talagang gusto namin mapag-aralan, and we are really hoping that you can help us on this as well. The
retirement attorney, kasi we have to retire old people because the young ones have to have jobs. Given na yan eh.
Yes, ma'am, but again, it depends on the liberality and the system in which we manage our laws. In the US, I just met 3 weeks ago an 80 years old who is doing his work. So we are saying na pwede naman pala, bakit restrictive yung employment program? We need not compel everyone to really retire. Even recognizing that, you know, at 40 you can retire, at 60 you can retire dahil yan na yun. But then again, if somebody still wants to teach, as in your case, you still are very active even at the level of 70s. Naku po, pwede pa tayong gumawa, and yet we are saying that, you know, the Philippines is so wide that sunshine is shared by all. So, ang nakikita ko kasi, we cannot limit ourselves to ang magtatrabaho dapat ay yung mga 1 to 60 lamang. I think there are many things. In fact, one of the challenges is, ma'am, I come from Siquijor, and one of my jokes is, one of my jokes is, ano bang abilidad na iiwanan mo? Yung bang mga paktol pwede mong iiwanan sa next generation? What we are really saying is, ano ba yung mga ability na pwedeng si senior citizen ay makapag-share to the next generation? Kasi if we do that, ma'am, I think our economy will even be stronger. We are facing the digital age, and a tendency is we criticize the next generation to just be holding on to their laptop and their cell phone. And baka makalimutan pa paano pagbayo o paano paggawa ng mga ibang bagay. So, ma'am, I think your experience we need, and I hope that in times which is friendlier, we would also be able to get from you your thoughts on how we'll be able to manage.
By the way, I'm Edu Punay, who is in charge of this project at DWSP, is my friend, and we have been talking about it. So maybe I should drop by your office next week and work out something.
Thank you, ma'am. Most welcome. Most welcome. And then the issue of insurance, we are really discussing very thoroughly. Right now, our universal social pension is being taken from sin taxes. But we know that this is the dilemma that we are actually into. We are telling people not to smoke, and yet we collect taxes as they smoke. So we are actually, in effect, telling them, sige, go on smoking as long as we will have the universal health care program. So ang nakikita ko is perhaps if we are all conscious about, saving things for the future, from the earlier age, we can even be more prosperous. Ma'am, thank you for your
thank you so much. Maybe, sir, I'll visit you at your office next week.
Sige, ma'am. Salamat kayo.
If you have time. Pangayon ako imong phone number kang Helen din sa Plaridel.
Yes, ma'am. Mike has my number. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Si
Comray, may gustong sabihin yata sa insurance ito, Comray.
Commissioner Cruz?
No, Mansilungan po.
Mansilungan?
Yeah, Attorney Hector, madalas nga kami mag-interchange ni Comray niya. Yung isang commissioner namin, ang tawag sa kanya is Raymar Cruz. Sa akin naman si Raymar Mansilungan. Anyway, yung pong insurance, yung bill ng Senior Citizen Party List, lifting the retirement age, actually it only pertains to the benefits enjoyed after 65. Kasi wala namang law na nagpo-prohibit na magtrabaho ka after 65. Now, kung ikaw ay 65 na, it's up to you to continue or not to continue. Ang issue talaga is whether or not we will continue to receive the coverage, the insurance coverage. Now, there are two types of insurance coverage. One is yung life insurance with health, which can be provided by PhilHealth, considering the universal health care. Ang susunod doon is the annuity. Ang problema po natin sa atin, we have two laws, yung charter ng GSIS, yung 8291, yung last amendment ng GSIS law. Yung 8291, it provides na ang contributions na i-consider sa isang government worker is only up to age 65. Which means that at age 65, if you work in government for 15 years, yung average pay mo for the last 3 years will be the basis of your pension. Yun ang nagiging problema doon kapag inalis mo yung cap, yung retirement age. Kasi kung merong mga government workers na nagtrabaho, for example, ng 10 years, yung actuarial study, yung actuarial computation ng GSIS will base yung kanilang yung kanilang matatanggap will be based on the last 10 years. Pero kung tatanggalin mo yung cap, ibig sabihin magpapatuloy pa rin sila na mag-contribute. So yung kanilang magiging basis for the annuity or the pension will be based on the day they decide to stop. Kasi marami tayong sitwasyon na nagtrabaho siya ng 12 years. Kailangan niya ng 3 years, kaya ng 65 na siya, hindi talaga siya pwedeng tumanggap ng pension pursuant to the GSIS law. Kapag tinanggal mo yung retirement age, it does not actually affect the GSIS law. So pwede kang magtrabaho after age 65, pero hindi mo natatanggapin yung benefits o hindi ka na entitled dun sa annuity benefits na provided by GSIS or SSS. Kaya in one of our discussions, it was suggested na siguro kailangan gumawa ng isang separate annuity plan or fund ang gobyerno para doon sa mga magre-retire para doon sa mga senior citizen na magpapatuloy na magtrabaho after the retirement age. So yun pong hindi ang issue doon sa lifting or removal noong retirement age or mandatory retirement age is actually more on the financial side. Yung health benefit niya sa PhilHealth, may universal na tayo. In fact, mas nakakatipid pa nga siya because hindi na siya kailangan mag-contribute sa PhilHealth pagka siya ay 65 na at retired na kahit nagtatrabaho pa siya. On the other hand, wala naman siya nung wala siyang opportunity. Kasi ang sa atin ngayon, kahit na gusto mong mag-contribute, hindi ka makapag-contribute because of the restriction ng 8291, which is the GSIS law. Kaya ang natin doon, if we are going to lobby, siguro ang mailalabing natin sa Kongreso is for government to come out with a separate fund, separate from SSS and GSIS, that will cater only on senior citizens. So yun lang po yung may 2 cent worth.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Mansilungan. And we would like to thank you all for this premiere edition of Plaridel. Ngayon lang po kami nag-Zoom press conference and it is historical because we went 2 hours. We usually only get up to 1 hour kasi mahalan charge ng Manila Hotel sa lunch eh. Pero ngayon, dahil libre, we can go 2 hours. So we'd also like to thank our journalist friends, Andy Sevilla and Gloria Bailon. And
next project nila,
on my part, I would like to just say that I'm happy there is a dedicated office for senior citizens. Yung dinidiscuss ni Commissioner Raymar Mansilungan, biktima ho ako niyan sa Senate. Kulang daw ako ng 2 more years. Hindi na ako tinanggapan. Na-appoint ako sa Commission on Appointments for 6 years, pero ayaw naman nilang magtanggap. So hindi ko na rin napuno yung 2 years na kulang ko sa 15 years. So a dedicated senior citizen portion of GSIS or SSS could be a welcome solution. I just thought, sir, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, dati po akong administrator ng PIBAO. At that time, pag ang American Embassy Veterans Administration nalaman na meron kang pensyon as a Filipino soldier, ini-stop yung pension mo in the US Veterans Office. Kasi yung iba naging American citizen, meron silang $500 or $600. Pagdating dito, kinukulikta yon na accumulate sa PIBAO na 5 o 10,000 ba a month. Kaya double dipping ang nangyayari. So I had a meeting with the US Embassy. Hinihingan ako ng listahan ng Filipinos who receive pension in the Philippines so they can cut the US pension. Sabi ko, why don't you give me the list of Filipinos getting US pension so I can cut off their Philippine pension? Gusto nila sila pa magtipid eh. Pero that's the reality. In other countries, Chairman, Commissioners, meron pong Department of Social Protection. So I do not know whether it is a good idea to put under one umbrella the GSIS, SSS, PIBAO, or whatever, PPP, and your office within one umbrella para wala nang double dipping. At saka ang uunahin natin na bigyan na pension yung walang PIBAW, yung walang GSIS, yung walang SSS, para yung poorest of the poor muna ang mabigyan. Total, yung iba sa SSS, 10,000. Sabi nila 17% contribution or 16% makes it sustainable to eternity. Ang SSS yata below 17 eh. Pero GSIS is 23% of your salary. So if there's a department that will really look at the macro numbers, we can give a better chance to the seniors up to the second half, up to the first half of this century. And with that little statement of mine, marami pong salamat sa National Commission of Senior Citizens, to our journalist friends, and to all those who participated. Thank you, and till next time. Hector Villacorta po, unemployed.
Attorney Hector, if you will allow me a reaction, I think we are enjoying your inputs. Perhaps we can increase the frequency of the interaction with Commissioner Raymar Rainier and maybe even more commissioner joining in. I guess it's high time that your expertise will also reach the applied practice of helping the seniors. Anyway, thank you very much, Attorney Hector,
thank you.
Sir Andy, and Ma'am Glo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye po.